Baby, when I tell you this episode really messed with John Lowe, Detective John Lowe, it really messed with him. Oh my god, I liked this episode for real, for real. But yeah, this episode of American Horror Story Hotel, Season 5, Episode 4, Devil's Night, they let John Lowe have it. Like on some real stuff. I mean, they didn't like they didn't tiptoe around it. Baby, they threw that man in there with them sharks and let him know what it really was. Okay, let me get started. When we come into this episode, it starts off with someone checking in. We found out it is Ricky Ramirez. Um, Later on, basically starts off with Ricky Ramirez checking in to the Hotel Cortez for the annual Devil's Night that JPM throws every year. hmm Basically starts off with him, Liz checks him in, he writes his name in the book. She takes him up to his room, basically tells him that the owner has left some treats on his pillow. She goes to give him the key, and he basically says, I don't need the key. Then we come to him sneaking in the window, and we see that there are guests in this room. He eats a piece of the takeout, takes a lamp, beats the man's head in, and basically stops a woman from screaming. And basically tells her if you scream, I'll kill you. Um, and basically tells her say to say this thing, and she says it. And she looks at her husband and she screams again. So he goes to strangle her. She gets loose and runs out of the room and runs down the hall where JPM is waiting. And she's like, "There's a murder in the hotel," and he's like, "There is a murderer standing in front of you." He grabs a woman. JPM and Ricky have a dialect between each other because they know each. Ooh, excuse me, y'all. Because they know each other. And basically, because, he's the owner of the motel, basically. And JPM knows Ricky. Oh, okay. And then we go into the credits. Boom, boom, boom. Whatever. Um, then we go back into where basically John gets a phone call from Scarlett. And they're basically talking about Halloween and what she's going to do and all this and that. And when he hangs up, he notices blood dripping from the room above just dripping from the room above. So we go up to the room above John's, and it's Hazel up there cleaning some blood-stained sheets. And while she's cleaning the sheets, he has a flashback of her past in 1925 with her and her son. Because basically she dressed her son up in a sheet as a ghost. And her son ends up getting kidnapped. John comes up to the room, knocks on the door. She's trying to clean up the mess she's made. And she talks to John, they conversate. She has John pour her a drink. She tells John about her story, basically, about how her son got kidnapped and that she never got him back. But John doesn't know because John thinks that everyone he's talking to in this motel is alive. That's the got you basically for John. He thinks everyone in this motel he's talking to is alive. Not everyone in this motel is alive, John. A couple of them are, but they're bloodsuckers. But almost everyone else is dead and is haunting the motel. And he doesn't realize that, being a detective and all. But she tells him the story and how she never got her son back because the person that kidnapped him, you know, killed him and put him in a mass grave of all his victims. So she never got her son back. All right. Then we come into Alex brings Holden home. Because, in the previous episode, she saw Holden at the end of the hallway, and she went down to him, and, they had a change in the words. Well, we come into Alex bringing him home, and, she takes his temperature, and it's not regular human temperature. We know why, but she doesn't know why. She asks him if he's cold. He says no. He basically says, I'm thirsty. She goes to get him some juice. Oh, I forgot to tell you, when they first walked in, there's a dog in the house and is barking at Holden. So Alex puts him in the bathroom. So when he says, I'm thirsty, Alex goes in the kitchen to fix him some juice. She fixes him a glass of orange juice and apple juice. But as she's in there, she breaks down. Then she comes back and she ends up dropping the glasses, and we see Holden drinking the blood of the dog. So she sees Holden basically drinking the blood of the dog, and he basically says, I'm sick. I feel sick. I want to see my mommy. And she says, no, your mommy's here. And he says, no, I want to see my other mommy. We know who she is, but do you know who she is? Then we come into where John researches Hazel's son's murder, and he finds out that the murder was committed in 1925, and that the murderer, I think he said, was 85 years old. Yeah, that part. So this is when the craziness to him starts, because you just spoke to this woman, Hazel, the maid in the hotel, and she told you about her son, but you just found out that case was in 1925. Then we come back to Alex taking Holden back to the motel. There's some nice scenes in this one. She shows her where he sleeps. He gets in his glass and wood coffin, and the Countess shows up. And the Countess takes her up to the penthouse, and they have conversation about Holden. And she's basically like, why did you take him? And she's like, I didn't take him, he came to me because I could see that he was being neglected. And Alex was like, neglected? I never neglect my son. He said, not by you, by your husband. And then it goes back into that flashback when Holden was taken off the carousel. And we see that then it shows the scenes where the Countess was there. And it shows the scene where the Countess and Holden were walking across the beach. She basically, is freaking out because, she tells the Countess tells Alex what she did, but Alex can't accept that. She wants Holden back. She wants her to change him back, but the Countess can't change him back. She can't. She can basically, Countess says, all I can do is basically, in simple words, turn you so you can live with him forever. Basically, that's what she was telling her. And, Alex, being the mother, she pulls a gun out on the Countess. And the Countess plays it cool, basically like, bitch, you ain't finna shoot me. I don't even know why you pulled this out on me. You ain't even finna use it. Kind of thing. And, she sits back in the chair and talks to and Alex is basically crying with the gun in her hand at the Countess. And basically tells the Countess, I'm coming back with the police. And before, Alice could even get out the door, here comes Tristan. Punch her. Boom. I'm like, dang. And steps on her neck. But the Countess, she's not having that. She tells Tristan to let her go. So Tristan lets her go. And Tristan's like, didn't you hear her? She's going to call the police. And the Countess says she's not going to call the police. She doesn't want to lose her son again. So the Countess is not done by far. Baby, she played that scene so cool and court. What? She was showing that she was the boss, baby. Then John goes to the bar. Then we come back to John going to the bar of the hotel. And, he and Liz have some back and forth. And a woman walks in. And her name is Aileen, I believe. And John is like, they have, and John and Aileen, or I forgot how I think it's Aileen or Eileen. I'm going to say Eileen. Have conversation back and forth, and he basically thinks she's in a costume because she looks like a woman that murdered 7 men in cold blood. And, she's there explaining to him what's going on. John's just sitting there like, whatever, that woman's dead. She's not here right now. You're just crazy, kind of thing. And, she propositions John. And her and John go back up to his room. She knocks him out. And then we come back to John tied up in a chair. And she's basically telling her story about how men, take it from her and stuff like that. And basically tells him, welcome to the Devil's Night at Hotel Cortez. She's basically going to try to kill him, but he ends up getting free and handcuffs her to the sink. Then he goes downstairs to the register where everyone checks in. Basically, I think to check the book. I was kind of turned away at this time. Something else caught my attention. But other than that, he goes to check the book. And Liz is like, only special people are invited to this. And then she finds out that he is invited to Devil's Night at the Hotel Cortez. And when he goes back up to his room, he sees there's a suit waiting for him, and that Eileen is gone. Then we come into the scene where he goes to the event. We find out who was all there. We also find out who all was invited to the event and who basically comes to the event every year. And he's John, he's sitting there like, basically like, y'all are ghosts. Y'all are not ghosts. Y'all are just human beings in costumes. That's what he's thinking. So he goes to the event. Everyone sits at the table where their place cards are. They drink something. I forgot what it was called. I should have got the name. Sorry, y'all. But he drank something. And basically everyone starts to introduce themselves. We find out we have John Casey there. We found out Jeffrey Dahmer's there. Aileen, something that starts with a W. I forgot it. I forgot her last name. The Zodiac Killer is there. And Ricky Ramirez is there. And it's basically a dinner with kind of, would they be considered historical killers? Because I know Jeffrey Dahmer is an historical killer. The Zodiac Killer is an historic killer. The other ones I don't really know about. I'll probably research it later. But basically, all these people at this table have met JPN. And he basically taught and advised them on what to do with what they're doing. And it just goes crazy. And John can't believe that, all these people at his table are dead. He can't believe it, because he's a detective. He believes in reality, what's going on now. He can't go think about, basically paranormal stuff. So he basically finds out that all these people at this table are. He thinks they're not. He thinks they're just human beings in costumes, but he comes to find out later on within this scene that yeah, these are ghosts. And they did it so sneakingly. They end up handcuffing John to the chair that he's sitting in, because the drink that he drunk basically is taking him out of his mind. It's like he feels he basically on cloud nine. To tell the truth, he's on cloud nine, but they basically drugged him. Um, you know, like I said before, JPM, basically met all of them and advised them on how to do things. They start the dinner. Hazel brings in a salad. Jeffrey's like, I don't like salad. Aline says, oh, he likes dark meat. Yes. I'm like, all right for the joke. And then, they start having a good time. JPM, he doesn't leave out Jeffrey. He brings someone in for Jeffrey. And Detective Lowe, being the detective, tries to save the victim. He ends up shooting Jeffrey. But Jeffrey's like, I'm already dead. You can't kill me. Because, all these people at this table are dead. And they're basically trying to let John know that, what you would perceive as reality, it's not. Especially in this motel. I don't know why he ain't got it yet. Then we come to where Sally meets a guy outside and they have conversation, and Sally's like, what do you want? And he says whatever you're selling, basically. And Sally ends up bringing this guy into the event, basically high as a kite. I forgot what she called it. It's China something. High on China something. Basically like, well, this, me bringing this guy in, make y'all, leave me alone for a year. Something like that. Sally brings this guy. And before she brings in the guy, the group, basically asks for a toast from JPM. So he goes in to do a toast and basically says, I want all of you to stay and have dessert with me. And that's when Sally brings in the guy she met out on the street, all drugged up. Rings the bell for Hazel. Hazel brings in basically knives for all of them, except for John, to stab this man. And basically he's like, I want y'all to, help me with this sacrifice that binds us together. And they all go in and they start to stab the man. Then we come into the scene where Sally wakes John up and basically tells him he was hallucinating. Then nothing happened. You were hallucinating. And she picks him up and takes him to his room. Then we come back to the Countess. She's getting ready to go somewhere, and before she can even get out of the door, Alex shows up. And she's, crying, basically asking the Countess to turn her so she can be with her son, because she cannot lose her son again. So guess what the Countess does? She turns her. And basically, that's the end of this episode. The Countess ends up turning Alex, but before she turns Alex, she basically tells Alex, "You have to declare your loyalty to me," basically. And Alex does, and the Countess ends up turning her. So now Alex is now a vampire, just so she can be with her son. That mother really loves her child, don't she? She really does love her child. And like I said, they really messed with John in this episode. Like, I think they're trying to make him go crazy or something. I know JP said that she invited him. I forgot why he said he invited him. I forgot. But if you have not seen the episode, go see the episode. This was a good episode. It really was. I'm being truthful. This really was a good episode. Y'all need to go see this episode for real. So, other than that, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Email me. ARI3SMAR5 @gmail.com. Go check out my page, Aries Mars. That's my channel. Subscribe. Check out my videos. Like, leave comments. What are your opinions on this episode? All right, y'all. Peace.